Welcome to another exciting episode of the $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Paper Guy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
And it is Saturday. It's BOLO Day, which stands for...
Be on the lookout.
He pays attention sometimes, people.
Yeah.
It's once in a while.
We've only done 400 of them.
At some point it would sink in. We tell you what sold. It's basically last week's eBay sales highlights. We told you what sold, why it sold. Some tips on finding when you're out there, some tips on what to do or not to do when you're listing, and more. Take it away.
All right, first up is ScoobyDoo Mystery Machine Van Hanna-Barbera DVD set case. It sold for like $35. I'm a little concerned because they haven't received it yet, but this was my kids, so it's a little rough. There's 2 figures. I think they came with more, which I don't think are in there, but I don't think the DVDs are in there, and they said DVD set case, which they're not implying, but for $38 they may be expecting DVDs in there.
Yeah, so I saw it and I didn't expect there were any DVDs in there.
It does say case only in here. So
okay.
If they're I would say 7 out of 10 people don't read that, but we'll take our chances.
The only thing that I would say is 2 things. Number 1, I would spell Hannah correctly.
Maybe they were out of room here, and get rid of one.
Oh, Van Hannah.
Panama.
Yeah, is that Van Hannah?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
No, it's Hanama.
Oh, there you go. And the other thing is, and I've never actually done some research. Actually, maybe I'll do that at some point. ScoobyDoo with the dash in the middle. I'm gonna have to do some research to see if that helps or hurts. Okay. Anytime I see a word with a dash, I do my absolute best not to put the dash in.
Right.
Because
it may come up 20% out of the, Yeah.
But I'll have to do some research on that to see. So now we've got a future topic. Right. Thank you, Mr. May.
Have you noticed a little logo?
Thank you, very competent listener, for that.
You noticed a little logo we've added in since I saw Paul and you?
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Nice.
All right, moving on. We had a bunch of these sell. We got a lot of duplicates, so I said, hey, let's list a lot. It is Jurassic Park Chaos Effect Counter Vintage 98 figures, 7 figures.
Oh, wow.
$364. Yep, can't argue with that. So I got, what did I get a piece? About
$50 a piece is $350. Yeah.
They were selling about $60 a piece on average. I figured I still have more of them, so it was a great deal. I bought, I think 60 figures. I mean, I paid good money, but I'm going to make good money too, and that's the name of the game.
Wow.
But if you see any old Jurassic Park, loose, carded, I think I said this last week as well, scarf them up.
There you go.
Next up, Depeche Mode magazine. Have you ever had one?
Oh, no.
It's not the band.
It's not the band, no.
French magazine, June 1999. Emma Booth. Took 5 years to sell for $30, but you know what? At least it sold. I'd rather take 5 years for $30 than 5 years for $13. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, and it's.
But I think I've had a few in just one deal. Never any other deals I.
No, I've never seen that whatsoever. So, wow.
But anything oddball, you got to pick them up. Next up, this was a consignment from a friend of mine. Just very cool piece. I wanted to show it off a little bit. 1911 T201 Mecha Double Folder Summers Jennings PSA 5. We put this out at $426, and that's what it sold for.
Nice.
Pretty cool piece.
Yeah, those are very nice items. Like looking at the old stuff, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. Enough about. Next up, I don't know why they had to say vintage. They didn't do VTG or anything and start with Buck Rogers, but it is Buck Rogers 25th Century Trick or Treat Halloween
awesome.
Candy Pet. It is very cool. Don't know where I got it from. I do remember getting it somewhere. I think $35.
Now, what is that Trick or Treat?
I think there was a tag that came with it.
Okay.
So original tag, but he's got eyebrows like you. Very cool. But I don't know what Buck Rogers is supposed to look like, but apparently when they made this, that's what he's supposed to look like.
That seems really cheap, doesn't it?
And maybe the condition. It's definitely worn and stuff.
Yeah, but he's even
we don't
got
know
the
what
sticker
year.
on it.
I'm assuming it didn't say the year. Well, let's see here.
No, I'm sure it didn't. No,
blank bottom. Yeah, but pretty cool.
I don't know. That seems
never
low.
Seen before, yeah.
That'd be one of those things. If somebody had it up for $20 at a sale, I'd be like, it's got to be worth more than that.
And it didn't sell in auction because we took a best offer on it in store.
Right.
So
wow,
it is what it
that's
is.
Surprising. I guess that's why I stick to paper.
Exactly. Short Stack Pancakes Food Fighters Mattel
Vintage remember the
1988.
Food Fighters?
I've had these before. Very cool. This was a $35 piece, and it's worn, used condition, but you don't see them very often.
They came on card, didn't they?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Very cool, and they're not very big, 2.5 inches.
So what's something like that worth on card?
Oh God, I would say hundreds of dollars. Good luck. Who's keeping that on card? The kids want to play with it, and you'd never think it'd be worth anything. So yeah, it can't be very many.
Wow.
And Circle S Western Cowboy Jacket Men's Blazer Gray and Black size 40 long. Took about 6 months for this to sell. I don't know where I got this from, but it sold for, I think I took 35 or 40 bucks, and I know I didn't pay anywhere near that for it because I don't like to do clothing, especially used clothing, especially cowboy used clothing. But again, it did sell, and happy with that. And if you see stuff like that out there cheap, I would pick it up. It is oddball and unique,
Yeah.
So it looks to be in great shape.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's it for me.
Very cool. Wow. Walked down memory lane today, Mr. Magazine. The Times of Vietnam, October 26, 1957, Republic Day. I do remember buying this at an estate sale. Thought it would be a quicker sale than that. It only took a year to sell, but not the greatest condition. I believe the person probably folded it down and put it in their pocket. I would expect they probably were over in the Vietnam War, as a matter of fact, which is probably why it ended up selling. So they saved that as a souvenir when they got back home, and probably somebody else, who also was over there probably wanted to buy it just as a reminder.
I would say so, sure.
But again, it's one of those newspapers you see. I've never seen it before, ever.
No.
Again, it's somebody's estate, paid a couple of bucks for it, and happy that I did.
Cool.
Up next, 2014, Bernard Quattrich Catalog of Books. Recent purchases, 1893, number 133. I bought a box of these at an auction, and I think I paid $10 for the entire box. Absolutely nobody wanted it. They are slow sellers, so do not rush out and buy this. If you are not a long tail seller and not willing to store stuff for a while, stay away from auction catalogs like this. That being said,
I think it's cool. Yeah, I don't know why
it's
in
from
demand.
1893.
Yeah.
And I got more out of this one than I paid for the entire box.
That's all that
And
matters.
I've sold others in the past as well.
That's all that matters.
I sell about 1 to 2 a year. Not getting rich off them by any means whatsoever.
Well, it says people want this. 20 people are watching this. You already knew that.
Well, 20 people were really slow to pull the trigger.
Cheapskates. 20 cheapskates.
Hagstroms Map of New York City, 1944. Subway elevated streetcars, house numbers. $20. Didn't take very long at all to sell. People love the subway stuff, so I immediately, of course, put the subway map up and everything as well. If you find New York City subway, it is heavily collected, so do buy subway stuff when you're out there.
Not the restaurant.
It's more than a foot long. Up next, they also like Hudson River Crossings Bridge brochures. $20 on this as well. Map of the 5 Hudson River crossings. Pretty neat. I never had heard of the Van Winkle Bridge. I got to be honest.
It's a good keyword to use.
Yeah, I'd never heard of that. Actually, I don't think I've ever heard of any of those bridges. But so be it. But pretty neat little item over there. And to quote Mr. Magazine, doesn't look like much, but I got 20 bucks out of it. Up next, the Electra Company
nice.
magazine, first issue.
Impressive.
Does have a little bit of water damage on it, unfortunately. I did list it as acceptable. A little stain and waviness along the top. Did pick this up over at Madison Bachville. Quite happy to get $24 out of it in that condition. First issue, not a magazine you see around very much. I don't know if you ever had any of those.
No, I've had Electric Company, but not. I think Spider-Man's been in some of them.
Okay, yeah, he was not in this one.
Yeah.
I did check for that. He was not in this one.
Thank you, appreciate it.
You're welcome. Up next, Henry S. Cyberson, original art, shovel, snow, winter skiing. As everybody knows who watched the haul video from Madison Bachville, I think everybody has watched it except one person. I did buy original art from the grandson of Henry S. Cyberson, who was in, I believe, Esquire, Saturday Evening Post, and a lot of other magazines as well. And this was the first piece there to sell. One gentleman was interested in a few other pieces as well. So overall, I paid just over $5 a piece for this art. I got $49 out of one piece.
Good deal.
It's going to end up being a very good deal. Just going to take some time to sell and time for me to list it all. So, but I've also mentioned this a couple of other times in previous videos as well, that I was holding out. I had to pay my price. I ended up getting my price. So, hold out. If you can only pay so much, pay what you can pay. Don't overpay on it. And a lot of times the deals will end up coming through for you. Up next, Sonoko Diamond Magazine. Have you ever had this, Mr. Magazine?
I do not believe so, no.
1956, Thurston Camp, Jerry Plozinski, and Ted Delaney, who all actually owned Sonoko stations. So it's kind of neat. They would show various stations and how various people were doing their stations and everything like that. Pretty neat little item over there. Cannot be a lot of those made because those only would have been sent out to the people who owned the Sonoko stations. Would be the kind of thing that you, if you find it, this was the only one I found, but a lot of times if you're into an estate, you'll find a pile of them, things like this, because Grandpa owned a Sonoko station back in the 50s, and all of a sudden he saved all of them, and there's like 35 of them. Now you know that they do sell for $36 a piece. So if you can buy the pile of 35 for $35, I would say do it.
Yep, absolutely.
And finally today, Monroe Community College MCC Rochester, New York Baseball Media Guide 1987. This actually was at an estate sale. They had a large folio, for lack of a better word to call it, just a big thing like that. It had a bunch of posters in it from MCC. And this was hidden down in the middle of it. The entire thing was priced at $6 and it was half price day, so I paid $3 for everything. This was in it. I said, well, let me try to get a little bit of money back. And it sold at auction. So very, very happy to move this at auction. And Mr. Magazine was telling me before the show that MCC is actually a very good junior college baseball school. So there you go. Don't know if the person was in it, don't know if their friend was in it, who knows why they wanted it, but for whatever reason they wanted it. So this kind of falls into that whole thing, and I did put the rosters up as well. This here was the roster of the team. So whatever reason they ended up wanting it, give in your listing, do put that second picture up, because otherwise what'll happen? My Uncle Bill played on the team. Can you look to see? You can look yourself, picture number 2. So I wonder if Bill is on that team. Do hit the like button if you could, and we will see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.